Good morning, my stamping friends. Brenda Hillard here at Create with Brenda. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I have a super fun card for us to do. As you can see it here, it's not a new technique, but it may be new to you, and I just kind of pulled it out. When I saw this Blessings of Home stamp set, I knew that I wanted to do the whitewash technique with this stamp set. So um, I'm going to give you a couple of updates here. So today is November 30th, and it is the last day that you have to join my fabulous team at Create with Brenda. The special for this month, and it ends today, is that you get to join um, our community of stampers at Stampin' Up! For just $75. That's right, $75. And you get to pick $125 worth of product. And, and you'll get to order um, products from the new upcoming mini catalog starting December 1st instead of having to wait until January 4th. That's one of the perks of being a demonstrator, is that you get early peaks and um, early chance to purchase, besides making a whole new community of friends who love to do the same things you love to do. So anyway, without further ado, let's get started. One more thing I want to remind you about is I do have my 12 Days of Christmas gift away going on now through December 12th. So when you place an order with me, that's over $25, I put you in the drawing for my 12 Days of Christmas gift away. Be sure at checkout to use my host codes. There will be a new one coming tomorrow, December 1st. And yeah, so be sure to use those at checkout, provided your order is under $150. So let's get started with our project. Fun stuff here. I'm going to get rid of my host code up there because I want to have all the space we need. So do you see this? It's gold embossed. It's shiny. It's pretty. And let's get started here with this part. Now, I think I have the noise canceling on for my recording here. So, but we'll find out. So what I have is a piece of crumb cake cardstock that measures 4 by 5 1/4. And I am going to trim this down once I'm done. Let's zoom in just a touch so you can see what I've got going on here. I've got my Blessings of Home, the flower spray, mounted on a E-block, and my Versamark pad, which is a watermark stamp pad. And by that, I'll show you. If you've never used Versamark, it's really fun to use alone or with the heat embossing. So I'm going to put this on here just at an angle. And we'll ink it up one more time. Sorry if that's shaking my camera. I don't think it should, but it might be. I don't know. All right, so I'm just going to put this one down here. All right, and see how you don't really see anything, but you can see the watermark lines. So is what I'm going to do now is take my gold embossing powder. Our embossing powders come in little containers, but as you can see, I kind of like to have the boatload of embossing powder. I find this works the best for me, but you'll find what works best for you. A lot of people will use the little jars like over a coffee filter, and then they can just pour it right back into the jar. So there's our piece. Now Here comes, I hope, like I said, that the noise canceling is on and this isn't just irritating the whole time I do this, but I've got my heat tool here. It's a 2-speed. I have it on the highest speed. And I'm just going to heat this up. And I think you'll see it start to get shiny. This is such a fun thing to do. It's kind of like magic. I still remember over 30 years ago, the first time I saw this done, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm in love. So we're almost done. And like I said, I don't know if this is canceling or not, but we'll find out. Okay, I think I've got shiny everywhere. You just want to make sure that you melt all of the powder. Okay, so there's that. Shut it off. And here comes the next part of this. So when you look at this, you see how I have the white and then kind of the pink blended. So let's do this. This is, and I don't use this very often. I don't know if you'll see it used very often, but it's our craft Stampin' Pad. It's a Whisper White ink. And what I did is I took my block and I just picked up a bunch of ink off from there like that. And then one other thing I should mention, when you get the stamp pad, you'll automatically get the re-inker, and the pad comes dry, so you have to ink it with the craft ink. Otherwise, it's just a plain old stamp pad. All right, so now using one of our water brushes, I'm just going to take on my block here, and I keep getting that all over me. Just kind of get that off. All right, I'm going to squeeze some water and just kind of thin the craft ink a little bit. And we're going to do what's called a whitewashing technique. So I'm going to start in the middle of my big flowers, going out to the petals. And at first you're going to think, gosh, that's awfully dark. But once it dries, it really does lighten a lot. So what I chose to do on my card, as you can see, is I wanted to paint the bigger flowers. Okay. So we'll move out to this one. Pink. Go around to each of them. A little bit more in on center petals, but honest, you do not have to be exact with this. I'm going to put it in the center of this one. Petals. And then we're just going to kind of do a whole big wash in the middle and lighter too, but I want it to have the wash look. Okay. So there's that part. I'm going to pick up some more and we're going to do the middle of this big flower and just repeat. Remember, this was the same stamp that we did. It's just that we stamped it at a little bit different angle. Getting close here. It's kind of fun to, it's fun to do. But as you can see, I can't really talk and paint at the same time. All right, I'm happy with that. And like I said, this is not exact. It's just on there and let it dry. Give this a little bit more too. This one, it does dry a lot later than it appears when it's wet. Give that a little more. And there it is. Even that is just pretty by itself, but wait until you see when we do the pop of um, color on there with the blending brush and the little sponge daubers. Okay. So our next step, you have to really let that dry. So for the sake of your time on the video here, I have one that is already dry. Looks like that. So what I'm going to do is bring in my blending brush, and this is the Blushing Bride ink. And I'm just going to rub my blending brush on the ink pad. And when I blend, I like to hold, like pinch back here and put my finger out so I can adjust the pressure on the head of the brush. So now I'm going to just go in and I'm going to rub over what we just whitewashed with the Blushing Bride to give it color. Okay. And don't worry about your blending brush. They wash perfectly with just water. And then I use like a microfiber towel to blot them dry. So now I'm going to take my sponge dauber and I'm going to move that around on my ink pad. And I want to just color in, daub in the centers of the flowers. Do you see what just happened there? How it made the center of my flower pop? Watch on this one. I'm just going to daub and just kind of go around and darken up the center of that flower. And then I also did the center of this other flower that sits here. I just gave that a little bit of texture too. I kind of want this one a little darker. Yeah, I like that. All right, enough. It's really, really fun, really addicting. All right, so before we put the Blushing Bride away, and I do have one more thing that I forgot to tell you. So I have this little scrap of Blushing Bride, and it measures 1 inch, and I don't even know how far this way, probably 3 inches, let's say. Yeah, it is 3 inches. That was a good guess. All right, so what I'm going to do is take my Versamark again, and I'm going to use this sentiment, this happy birthday from the Shaded Summer stamp set. And I want to find my stamp. I'm going to make this into I made these for a card swap with some demonstrator friends. I'm just going to stamp this on here with the Versamark. Move it over here with my gold embossing powder. Sometimes you get like a little static line on there that you want to brush off the excess so that your embossing stays nice and clean looking. I'm going to heat this up. I'm burning my fingers. There we go. All right, so that's all shiny. And now we can be done with the noise machine here. All right, so I want to bring in, this is going to be the insert. It's very vanilla, and it measures 4 by 5 1/4. So it's going to be, the, like I said, the insert for our card. And using the soft suede ink pad and this fun sentiment that says, have a perfect birthday. And that, again, that's from the Blessings of Home. It's a brand new set that's available to demonstrators on December 1st. So remember, if you aren't a demonstrator and you want to be, join by the 30th of September. It's the best deal I've ever seen for join. It's $75 and you pick $125 worth of product. Now, this is the other spray from this Blessings of Home set. Like this. I have it mounted on a block. I'm inking it up with the Blushing Bride, and then I'm just going to lay it sideways on my card when I stamp. So I'm going to get this look, which I think is beautiful. In fact, that would be an okay thing to just stamp and be done, right? So this is going to be the insert for our card. And now before I put this ink away, I do want to do a quick stamp of the envelope here on the flap. Just remember, no naked envelopes. And then I have one over here that doesn't have one, so I'm going to give that one a stamp. I may as well do this while I'm out, because remember, I'm stamping 2 of them. All right, I'm good. Good. All right. Let's now do the other magic piece to this. Which is our assembly. So here's our card base. This is Blushing Bride, measures 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, board at 4 1/4. Match up my edges and give it a good crease here. And then because we heat embossed, I want to use liquid glue to put this down on my card. It'll just help it lay really flat. It's not really warped, but sometimes when you heat emboss, it does warp your cardstock. So I was going to trim that down, but I decided not to. So now that is glued down to the front of our card. And then we're going to bring in that 1 by 3 inch piece that we heat embossed with the birthday sentiment. And I'm just going to cut this at an angle. Nothing, no measurements, none of that. Just cut it. And then I want to add some dimensionals to the back of this. There it is. I'm going to put that on at an angle. And then my beautiful shimmer ribbon. This is the 3/8 inch shimmer ribbon. I'm just going to tie a quick bow. And remember, if you aren't into bows, you can always tie knots. So give that a trim. And then I want to bring in my glue dot. Do you know this little trick with the ribbon? Then you can just slide them back and grab them, and your roll doesn't always unravel. And I'm just going to put that right there on the corner. There it is. And I think this is going to show up on camera, but this really is like a stunning card, and it's easy. Like I said, I did it for a swap card, so I think I did 14, 16 of these in maybe an hour, and that's heat embossing, whitewashing, and doing the blending, the cutout. I love it. I hope you do too. Give it a try. Like I said, it's not a new technique, but it's a great technique using this new Blessings of Home stamp set. And honest, if you've thought about joining Stampin' Up! And just haven't, right now is truly the best time, the best deal. $75, $125 worth of product. And I'm here for you to help you every step of the way, whether you're a hobby demonstrator or you're trying to build a business. Have a great day, everybody. And until next time, bye bye.